Hi everybody. In this video we're going to take a look at the syllabus for EHD 510 for this summer. Okay, we're going to do it at a high level. I'm not going to read it word for word. You can do that on your own. But I just want to make sure to hit some of the key points that of the type of work we'll be doing this summer and how your grade will work. All right, so kind of starting off here, here's my contact information. Email is the best way to get hold of me. But I'll warn you, I get like 100 plus emails every day. So if you email me and you don't hear back in a day or two, just resend the email. It does not bother me because I know I get lots and lots of emails, and once it kind of falls off the screen, it may be a while before your email surfaces again. So just, send me an email, get back to me, follow up if you don't hear from me. Don't take it personally if that happens. My office hours are all on Zoom, Mondays 5 to 7. It may change a little bit based on scheduling issues and that. I'll make sure to send out announcements and let you know if that happens. Our course, this is a course, kind of a consumer-focused course on research methods so that you can find articles, evaluate journals, see the pros and cons of different types of strategies, and the sorts of conclusions you should be seeing people making for different types of studies and approaches in educational or social behavioral sort of research. Okay, we have our required textbook. Make sure you pick it up. We do have we're going to have quizzes, and that's going to include material out of the books. So make sure you get the book. Make sure you get the 7th edition, the correct edition, because there have been changes in the different editions that may come into play. Okay, software. This is an online, asynchronous online course, so we're going to be using software. Specifically Brightspace. You have to be comfortable using Brightspace. Everything is in Brightspace. Everything is in Brightspace. So you're going to need to use Brightspace to complete quizzes, to upload some material, everything. So you need to be comfortable using Brightspace. You need to be comfortable uploading and downloading files out of Brightspace. And there'll be YouTube videos, so you need to be able to access and watch YouTube videos associated with the course. Now I have a separate video that talks about Brightspace, so we won't go into it too much detail here, but I will point out that each week each week of the semester of the summer, we have a separate folder in Brightspace so that it's kind of very organized in that way. So kind of week 1, here's what we're reading, here's what you're watching on videos. Week 2, and here's what we're reading, here's what you're watching on videos, here's what's due this week. So it's very organized. So you need to be checking Brightspace regularly just to stay caught up, because again, I'm going to be communicating to you through Brightspace, and everything's going to be there. I'll post announcements in Brightspace that should go to your main.edu account. It's very important you get those announcements. So make sure you check your main.edu account every day. Or if you are forwarding them, make sure that the email going to your main edu account is getting forwarded to the account that you want to use. Okay. Grades. Your final grade is based on a total of 600 possible points, using a classic 90, 80, 70, 60 sort of grading scale. We'll see in a minute all the assignments, as everything is organized week by week by week. All of your assignments are due the Friday of that week. So the Friday of week 1, the Friday of week 3, at the very end of the day, 11:59 p.m. All of the work is submitted into Brightspace, so it's time stamped. So if it's a little late, it's going to be stamped as coming in a little late, and you will lose some points for assignments coming in late. Okay. You'll see in a minute that, again, while we're based on 600 points, your grade's based on 600 points, you can actually earn 620, which is a little of a bonus that can help you out, but we'll talk about that in a minute. So there's several different types of activities we'll be doing as part of this this course that is going to form your grade. Kind of the first two things. One is for two simple, straightforward things are due early on, May 17th, and that's just to kind of check that things are all up and running correctly at the start of the semester before you start to have issues with, for example, Brightspace. One is a syllabus review, and this is a quiz, an open book quiz in Brightspace worth 10 points, just asking questions out of the syllabus. And it's just my way of checking that, one, you can access Brightspace and do the quizzes, and that you've read the syllabus. It's open book, so you can go through the syllabus while you're doing the quiz, but I want to make sure you've kind of read through the syllabus. And understand things like redos for quizzes. We'll come to that in a minute. I'll point out in the syllabus there is what I call a code word. It's not a typo. It's not a grammatical error. It's not an out of place. No, it's a word that when you see it, it'll jump out that, oh, that's got, you'll know it when you see it, and it's it's worth 2 extra credit points on the syllabus review if you just tell me what the code word is. And this is, again, my way to make sure you've gone through and carefully read the syllabus. And for doing that, you get a couple extra points. You can retake this as many times as you want to get the full credit, because I want you to understand the syllabus. So make sure you do that. A second thing, very straightforward, simple, that's due May 17th. Is your personal introduction. It's just posting in a forum in Brightspace for the class. I want all the students to kind of post a little bit about themselves. What's your name? What program are you in? What plans do you have post-graduation, including, I don't know what my plans are going to be. It's okay. That's all right. And some fun fact about yourself. Like for me, you're going to learn, a fun fact about me is our whole family loves Disney. So that'll come up in the semester at different times, or in the summer, I guess now, at different times. So, some fun facts, some fun fact about yourself. Okay. And again, that's everybody, that's in a forum. I like doing this because being we're asynchronous, I want to try to encourage the class, all of you, to get to know each other in a way. And we're going to have discussions in a minute. We'll see kind of a discussion forum as a way of trying to get everybody to engage with each other in that. So this is just, again, my way to try to work around kind of make this as more as like a regular class as possible. These sorts of introductions we would do if we were all in a physical classroom together. We're just going to do it online this way. Okay? Now, the majority of your grade is going to come from 10 quizzes. There's 10 of these. Each are worth 40 points, so that's a total of 400 points. Quizzes are open book. They're open book, so you can go back to the book. You can watch the video again. You can look at notes, whatever, while you're doing the quiz. Okay? The kind of point out here, they're multiple choice, true, false, fill in the blank, matching sort of questions. They're scored automatically in Brightspace, so that as soon as you complete it, you'll see kind of what did you miss, and the kind of what your score is at that point. And I do that in part so that you can retake the quiz. So if you go through and you're unhappy with your grade and you see I missed this and this and this, you can go back, reread the book for that material, rewatch a video that covers that material, come to office hours, send me an email. We do a one-on-one Zoom, and it's like, you can say, I don't understand. I missed this. What, can you give me some more insight? I'd love to do that. And kind of figure out what you've missed and go back and retake the quiz. And I want that. I like that mastery sort of approach that you can redo and let's learn what we've missed instead of just missing content and moving on. Now, there is an adjustment because there's a difference between someone who gets 100% the first time and if it takes you 3 or 4 times. So there's an adjustment, but the maximum, well, and I kind of spell that out here, that well, the way it works, let me just kind of say that, is the last question on the quiz is worth 8 points. And it simply asks which attempt is this? Is this your first attempt? Well, then you get all 8 points. If it's your second submission, then you get 4 points. If it's your third, you get 2 points. And if it's your fourth, then or fourth or more, then you get 0 points for that question. But the key with this is, notice that's worth 8 out of 40 points. So if you just redo the quiz a few times until you get 100% on everything else on the other 32 points, and you get, even if you get the 0 on these 8, you still get 80%. You still get a B minus on every quiz. You can get at least a B minus on every single quiz. If you just kind of stick with it, if you leave yourself enough time to do those redos, right? You don't want to do it. It kills me when I see someone starting their first attempt at 11 o'clock on the Friday that it's due, because it's like, then they miss points and they don't have the opportunity to find the right answer and redo it and boost up their grade. So take advantage of this. Do the quiz so that you can, well in advance, so that you can figure out what you've missed if you've missed some questions, and kind of recheck that material or talk to me or whatever to pick up those points. Take advantage of those redos. Now, one thing that comes up is, and there's that, because there's sometimes there'll be students that are saying, well, I want to read, I did really well, but I want to redo it because I want to master the material. I missed this question and I'm dying to know what the answer is. So I want to redo it, but I don't want my grade to go down because of that adjustment. You don't have to worry about that. Your grade never goes down with a redo. It never goes down. Whatever the grade is, on the different attempts, whatever's the highest grade is the grade you get. So there's students that will, every semester I'll see some that'll talk about this, that they'll just always want to go back and get 100%, even though, get all the answers correct, even though it's not gonna necessarily boost their grade up, but they like the idea of mastering the content, which I love it when people do that. I love it when people, that's great. So there's no downside to doing redos. So just make sure you leave yourself enough time that you can take advantage of that opportunity. Okay? Then there are, kind of shifting gears, another activity that we're going to do are short exercises. And there's going to be 10 of these as well. And they, like I said, they're short. It shouldn't take more than half an hour. And some will be less than that. Kind of the purpose of this is actually kind of arose out of feedback from students as over the years, that kind of some specific sort of activities that we've done or things that they've learned in the class that they've said is really valuable. So I've kind of built on that to do these exercises. And it comes down to kind of 2 of the things we're going to learn early on in the semester. And that is finding research articles. So let's say that let's say your school, you're working at a school and there's a debate on should we do phonics based or whole language reading. And you want to find some research on this. Kind of, okay, well, what does the research say about these different approaches? Well, this is what we're going to learn, how to find research articles on different topics and that. So we're going to kind of have some exercises where we're doing that so that you can go on, in practice out in the real world and continue to, find the latest research on topics that you're interested in. Another topic that we're going to learn in the first few weeks gets at evaluating journals. There's lots of different research journals out there. And it's growing every day because of online open source sort of things. And some of them are fantastic, and some journals really kind of suck. and it can be hard to know which one's which. So we're going to learn some tools and strategies for evaluating the quality. Is this a high quality source that I can really trust? Is this really, do they really publish strong, good research? And maybe this journal is just publishing anything anybody will send them because the authors will pay them a bunch of money to publish their crappy studies. So there's ways we're going to kind of learn how to do this, how to do those evaluate the journals. And for these exercises that, like I said, these 10 exercises, really a lot of them focus on those two activities. And we're going to go through kind of building some steps, working on that, so that you'll be out doing this on your, hands-on sort of work, researching, using these. We're going to learn search engines. You're going to learn those search engines, go out there, find articles, and then, as part of these assignments. And I want to emphasize with this that I talk about these as exercises because what's the most important thing for me with this is that you actually just try it. I want you to spend time using those search engines more than what you find. Do you find if I describe an article and ask you to find it, do you find the right article? I don't care. I want you to be using the search engine and looking around and trying them out, kicking the tires and taking it for a run around the block sort of experience. That's the most important part of it. So you get full credit. You just need to try it and do it. I'm less interested in you found this article, they found that article. That's all right. I want to see that you're just trying these exercises. You do the exercise, you get the points. It's that simple. Okay, so those are the exercises, kind of inspired by student feedback. Then another topic, weekly discussions. Starting in week 2, we're going to have weekly conversations, weekly discussions, I should say, in a discussion forum. And starting in week 2, you need to post 2 times. You need to make 2 posts each week in this kind of ongoing discussion forum that we're going to have for the class. Now, those 2 posts, it's just 2 posts. They don't have to be long. In fact, I don't want them to be long because the idea of this is to engage. Well, they can be if you want, but don't think you have to write long things. It needs to be more than ditto or I agree, but you don't need to write paragraphs and paragraphs of material. It's the idea for this is to encourage interaction, encourage discussion among the students. Because again, we're asynchronous, we're online. You don't have the opportunity to talk to each other, to bounce ideas off each other that you have in a physical classroom. I've seen phenomenal conversations going on across several weeks in these discussion forums. And that's what we're trying to do, where students are talking about experiences in their class. And it's like, well, then we've done this. And in our, I'm in a different field. This is kind of interesting. How do you guys do? I mean, these discussion forums, the whole purpose, my purpose of them is to have you interact with each other. That's the important thing. So as part of that, guys, a couple pointers. One is, again, it needs to be 2 posts every week to get the full credit. It's easy points. I mean, you just have to post twice. They don't have to be new posts. It doesn't have to be a post you start. Your one or both posts can be replies to other people's posts. So someone talks about something that someone makes a post and you just respond to that. Counts as one of your 2 posts. In fact, I like those sorts of responses because, again, that's what I'm trying to do, is to get students to interact with each other. So those are great. The post can be on anything kind of in any way related to research sort of stuff, or kind of how this is being done in your work settings. It can be, you can talk about the readings, you can talk about, or something that you saw in the video that kind of made you think, or something you saw on TV or in the news that somehow is related to all of this. So it's very loose. No kind of right or wrong in terms of how we're doing this. I'm trying to get the class to talk about with each other about some of the material, some of the ideas that we're going to be learning. And again, we've had some pretty fascinating conversations sometimes. So that's the whole point. Is it's so again, it doesn't need to be long. Because I don't want, if it's I want to encourage. It's not a case of I need to post so many sentences every week or whatever. It's and longer doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get more. Well, because you won't get more points, but it's that engagement. That's what I'm trying to get at. Okay. Let's see. Then finally, kind of as we're learning about research methods, kind of an important topic is, well, what's ethical research? What are kind of our modern ethical standards for doing research? And as part of the course, we're going to all go through what's called the social and behavioral research training offered by the university. You may hear this referred to as the IRB training, and it's just training that any student or faculty member has to go through if they're doing research that involves human participants. And it's online. You watch videos. There's some quizzes that you have to do along the way. Grades don't matter. I don't care what your grades are. You have to kind of pass the quizzes at some minimal level to wrap up your training. If you struggle in one, you can always redo it, so don't worry about that. But when you've gone through the training, that takes several hours, so don't wait till the last minute to do this. It can set aside an afternoon to do this, and at some point, at the end you get a certificate, and you just need to upload the certificate into Brightspace, and you get your 50 points. Two things I want to point out. One is students will sometimes ask, well, I've already done this to do my thesis or on a project I was working on. Do I have to redo it? No. Just upload the certificate you already have if you already have done the training. Now, if your training's expired, then you need to redo it. But if you've got the certificate, if you've already done the training, upload it. You're already 50 points ahead. Another thing I want to point out is make sure you do the social and behavioral research training. When you log into the city training online, and we'll talk about that. I've got a video showing how to do that. When you log into it, you will notice there may be several options for different training that you can do. Make sure you pick the right one, the social and behavioral research training. There's others that you'll see there, and if you pick the wrong one, kind of a bummer because you have to go back and redo it. So pay attention to that. Finally, as I mentioned at the start, there's, all the work adds up to 600 points, but you can get 620 points because everybody starts the semester or the summer. If you log in, you're already going to see you've already got 20 points. These bonus welcome to class points, I call it. And the idea for these bonus points is that, well, kind of twofold. They cover all sorts of situations that may come up in the summer. This is my way of dealing with those situations. I'm going to be gone for 2 weeks, and so I'm going to miss the discussion forum. What do I do? Well, there's your point. This is what this 20 points takes care of: a couple weeks of discussion forum posts. That's no problem. Or a couple weeks of discussion forum posts, and you can miss an exercise and still come out a couple points ahead, as I note here. So it takes care of those sorts of situations. If you just need to take some time off and you don't want to worry about anything, that's great. Also, if you're a student who's a little anxious about those quizzes, because it's open book, and you can take as long as you need on the quizzes, they're a little tougher. And my goal is, with the quizzes, is I want you to go back and revisit some of the material. So the quizzes can be a little bit of work. If you find that a little stressful, you can think of these 20 points as basically a way of raising half of your quizzes an entire letter grade. Right? Think of half of your quizzes, those 10 quizzes, you can kind of automatically bump from a B to an A using these 20 points. Now, you don't have to use them that way. The points are just there, but kind of it translates to that. So again, 20 bonus points we're starting off with right away, just as a way of kind of easing us into whatever may happen. Okay? Additional policies are all spelled out here. Make sure you read about incompletes, because I know there's some squishiness on how people approach incompletes. I'd follow humane policy that not just, you can't use an incomplete just to avoid a bad grade. You can't use an incomplete just because you run out of time. But if something comes up in life, in the semester, and you think you may need an incomplete, come talk to me so we can map out. Because everything you do up to that point counts towards your final grade. You can't redo the stuff you've already done. Once we kind of decide, okay, here's kind of the line in the sand, we're gonna now, let's see what happens if you need an incomplete. But so come talk to me if that happens. I mean, I know from personal experience, I know things in life can get in the way in the middle of a semester or a summer or whatever. So if that happens, let's talk. Don't wait till the last minute. Don't wait till the end of the semester, because it's too late. There's nothing I can do at that point. Okay? Finally, I won't Zoom with you if you're driving. This has come up. This is students driving, steering wheel, and they're not looking at the phone, for office hours, and it's like, no, I'm hanging up on you. Yeah, it's happened, so I have to say it. Okay, finally, here's our schedule. And the schedule is subject to change. I may add some material, add some readings, whatever, we'll see. But here's kind of our schedule at the start. A couple things I want to point out. As you can see, it's organized week 1, week 2, week 3. Here's the date for the start of that week. So starting May 6th is the start of week 1. Anything that's due is due the Friday of that week. So first week, there's nothing due. Next, the second week that starts Monday, May 13th, that Friday, there's a couple things due. The syllabus review we talked about, the personal intro, 2 very, very simple things. Again, just to kind of make sure you can actually access and work with the Brights, with an online course. Your first discussion, weekly discussion posts. And again, just 2 posts. You can reply to other people's things. Don't obsess about that. All right? And, then it kind of goes from there. You'll notice that assignments are kind of backloaded. There's more things due at the end. So I've kind of pushed due dates out. In fact, look at like quiz 1. Quiz 1 is in the end of week 6 is when quiz 1 is due. You can do it sooner, but it's due by the end of week 6. But we've covered all the material on quiz 1 in week 3. So you've got several weeks to work on quiz 1 if you want. Don't wait till the last minute. As soon as you've covered the material, do quiz 1 so that you can do redos if you need and move on to the new stuff. So okay, so there's plenty of time for these material, for the quizzes in particular. I've pushed those all back towards the end of the semester. My reasoning for that is twofold. One, there's some students who start the semester and need to go a little slow at the start. Maybe they're still working and they want to kind of go at half speed the first few weeks. And so this lets them kind of start a little slow and then catch up later, if you're in that sort of situation. At the same time, there's students who want to finish early. And so what you're going to see is I'm going to unroll these weeks online at a little accelerated pace. So at the end of week 2, so in week 2, you might notice I've already posted week 3 in Brightspace. At week 4, maybe everything through week 6 is posted in Brightspace. And that's a way that students who want to get ahead can kind of work at a faster pace so they can wrap up early if they want. This is kind of my way of trying to adjust, make the coursework for everybody all in one class instead of having to offer multiple different versions. Okay, but if you follow, in the end, if you follow this schedule, you'll be fine. This is the official schedule we're doing, and if you follow that schedule, you'll be just great. But you can go a little slower if you need, and you can certainly go faster and wrap up earlier if you want to do that as well. Okay, everything I wanted to talk about. Let me know if you have any questions, and I look forward to working with you over the summer. All right, take care. Bye-bye.